So here is the thing, and before I say anything, please hit the subscribe button and activate notifications. It would really make me feel swell, considering that we are 776 subscribers away from actually being taken seriously. I will take all of the subscribers I will get. But here's the thing. The reason that I have been more than slightly critical of the impeached Donald Trump hashtag group was basically because I've been through this before. It will be exactly 20 years this year that we went through the rigmarole known as the William Jefferson Clinton impeachment, which was all about, excuse me, Bill Clinton saying that I did not have that sex with that woman, and that woman was not necessarily Monica. It was more along the lines of one Paula Jones, whatever happened to her. And people, first off, kept forgetting that, like Donald Trump, there was a lot of stuff that Republicans were trying to get on Bill Clinton. There was Whitewater. There were, maybe a couple of murders. There was a lot of crap. And they finally settled on Paula Jones, and they finally settled on Bill Clinton saying that he didn't have sex with her, which he did. So it got through the House, and it got to the Senate. Now, under the rules of impeachment, you have to have a two-thirds majority. And they didn't get it. As a matter of fact, it was slightly favoring the final vote, the final jury vote, and which is basically the entire Senate. It was more or less split down the line 50-50, but it was obvious that there were some Democrats that decided to switch parties and vote against the president. But that didn't help or work, because obviously Bill Clinton managed to fill out his term. Fast forward to now. We feel we have so much stuff on Donald Trump that we can impeach him all day long. Problem is that a lot of people still don't know what impeachment is. Impeachment is nothing more than an indictment. Excuse me. It is nothing more than an indictment. The House votes on bills of impeachment. They say, well, okay, this guy may have done some stuff. Let's, bound this over to trial. That basically is the impeachment. The impeachment really is nothing more than an indictment. You were arrested for robbing your neighbor's house. You go up against the judge. The grand jury convenes to try to figure out, whether or not there's enough evidence. The House is the grand jury. And if they think that there's enough evidence to bound this over for trial, it goes over to the Senate. Bill Clinton was impeached, but he walked. Andrew Jackson was impeached. Andrew Johnson was impeached. Andrew Jackson made a really great beer that they don't make anymore in New Orleans. Both of these guys walked. Why? Because there weren't enough people, the 2/3 majority, to convict them. So now we go to the trial. And in the trial, all 100 members of the Senate are the jury. The judge is the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, who just happens to be a Republican. The jury is made up mostly of Republicans. Donald Trump will probably get Jay Sekulow to do the honors in terms of defense. You go through the trial. You go through the testimony. You go through the, quote, evidence, unquote. And I say it that way because really it has nothing to do with evidence. You can have a videotape of Donald Trump shooting Ivanka in the head. That has nothing to do with that. This is simply about whether or not this person should continue to be president of the United States. So they have the trial. And they go sequestered. They come back, and you have to have 2/3 majority to convict any president in this particular scenario. You need 67 people. So counting every single Democrat, you need to get not 5, not 12 as in the last time. You need to get 20 Republicans to convict. Now, some people say, well, get them on record and stuff like that. They're already on record. And their constituents don't give a crap. And right now, if you just take a look at the numbers, Donald Trump walks. Now, if you followed me for these many years on social media, you will know that I am not necessarily in love with the prospect of a second Donald Trump presidency. If you do not want Donald Trump as president, you should focus on election day. You should focus on finding the one person who can not only defeat Donald Trump and his whole cabal, but also would basically try to be a leader. A leader on the world stage. Now, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for at this particular point in time. I will later on. But we need to focus on that one person, and we need to start focusing on that person right now. We need to not only focus on that, we need to increase turnout. Last presidential election, 35% of the registered voters did not vote. 35%. It wasn't the Russians. It wasn't Fox News. Hell, it wasn't even any of the other little bumps in the road. People just did not care, and this is what we wound up with. So what we really need to do is we need to focus on turnout. And if you are a Trump Republican, you need to do the same thing too. What we really need at this particular point is to know exactly where America stands, and the only way we can do that is if we have a situation in which almost everybody voted. We need to do that. Unfortunately, I fear that we're going to have the same problem as the last time. So what do we do, everybody? What do we do? I'll leave you with that. Have yourself a